My book, The Impossible Startup, actually a unusual success story of two unlikely co-founders, one a mechanical engineer and one an MBBS doctor, who gave up their stable non-IT careers, reinvented themselves as software developers, and then started a company with just one vision of building a world-class product out of India, which has now become an organization which has more than 250 customers across 30 countries, and now having an annual recurring revenue of 20 million plus. So with this book, my intention is to impart certain practical lessons which I learned through my real experience as a co-founder of this organization, Johans, and I'm sure it will help any startup founder who's trying to achieve his ambitious dreams at present. Actually, the most important thing which is required in a startup is the courage to get started. So I just wanted to tell the startup ecosystem that anybody can actually do it irrespective of what educational background they have, from which place they come, what is their age. Because people believe that founders are somebody who are very smart, they know what exactly to do, they have great pitches, they can walk into a room and talk very well. But actual reality is that founders are like any other common person. They are very fine with working in an uncertain environment. They just take the first step. So what I call, they are very comfortable in working in a torchlight effect environment, I call it. So it's imagine you are in a room which has complete darkness and you just have a torchlight with you. So when you switch it on, what you see is you just see the next two steps. So founders, what they do is they just take the next two steps, and when they do them, then the next two steps become clearer to them. So that's how their journey they start. They do not have long-term plans. They are not very clear in their mind. So my intent was, how do I give this confidence to people that anybody who has such ideas can get started even when they are not clear in their mind what needs to be done, and just get going, take that first step. That was the first thing. And second thing, I wanted to inspire certain people who are thinking they have good ideas. Nowadays, a lot of people have great ideas with them. How to nudge them and take that first initial step of getting going, because what happens in the long run, the regret of not doing anything far outweighs than any pain of failure which you may get over a short period when you start something of it. So if you don't start, you will never know what you were capable of achieving. Actually, this book is intended for two important target audience, I would say. One are those startup founders who have just started or are in the initial phase of the journey, because I find that part is the most difficult in this startup phase. So I just wanted to give them certain basic principles which they could follow, which are common sense values which they do in their real life. So they are the ones who are the primary audience. And second are people who are just thinking that should they do something of their own. They have certain ideas in mind. They have always been discussing and talking about something they can do. So those are the people I want to inspire and make them take that first step of getting started on this entrepreneurial journey. So in the startup world, it is very common parlance that any journey of an organization is divided into three broad phases. The first phase is called typically 0 to 1 phase, and referred to as the impossible stage, where you have nothing and you try to create something out of it. There's an idea in your mind, you bring it to life and try and start having some paying customers for it. That's referred to mostly as the impossible stage, because success rate is very low at this stage. Maybe four companies out of 10,000 may survive at that stage. There is a huge amount of uncertainty, and it's a lonely and a hard phase of your journey. The next phase typically is referred to as the improbable phase, which is called the 1 to 10. And 1 to 10 refers to your recurring revenue, 1 million to $10 million. This is the phase where you have already survived the first initial part. The product is ready, you have got paying customers, so the market fit is already established. And now you're trying to scale it to the next level and getting customers, building the right team, fine tuning your product. And then there's the third and the final phase in the journey from 10 to 100, which is called the inevitable phase. So here you have everything going for you, the momentum is there, and that takes you forward, and your success is in a way guaranteed or inevitable. You have to just ensure how you scale it up, take your company global, and build large teams around it. So I wanted to really talk about the first and the most important phase, the called the impossible phase, and tell people that there are ways to survive that impossible phase. What it takes is certain basic principles, common sense values which we use in our journey, and using those, the chances of your success and building a strong foundation for your long-term enduring companies improve a lot. So that was the intent for me to write. Connect to the impossible phase, which people understand, and try and give them the confidence and comfort that it can be made possible. Top 3 to 4 takeaways which I would want the readers to do is, firstly, is having a strong belief in what you're doing. That is the basic thing which is needed when you start, because it is a difficult journey and a lot of up and down will be there. And if you don't have belief in what you're doing, the persistence required to move forward will not be there. That's the first thing. I also want readers to know that as you move forward, you need to ensure that your customers get far more value from what you're offering than what you're expecting from them. In the initial phase, it is all about the customer. Your returns will follow in due course, but you have to ensure how you make the customer successful. Other thing which I want people to understand is having a right team with them is very important. So they need to ensure that they have a few people who are part of the journey, who will continue to be so irrespective of what are the hardships or obstacles come in the way. So these 3-4 things should be there basically with them when they start, and these improve the chances of success in the long term. One more important point is taking small steps at a time. Sometimes we overthink, try to plan too much. We think we need to have 1 year, 2 year plans. But my experience has shown that these things really work because we are in a very dynamic environment. So try and see how you can start taking those small initial steps, which will itself guide you in your next thought process or make your plans better as you move forward. Actually, there are two core audience for these books. One is people who have already started their entrepreneurial journey. So for them, first thing is they should read the book end to end, just take in what all is there. And then after having soaked in the entire context of the book, what the book is trying to tell, then they can go back to the individual sections and see how they can employ some of these basic principles which I mentioned to their current situation. See, in a startup world, there is no blueprint which can help you. There are only certain basic principles which can take you forward. Each startup journey is unique. Your experience, your requirements are very different. So try and see how you can map some of the thought processes and ideas which I have given to the current situation in which you are. Try and fine tune your strategy, your action plans based on that. So you can go back to various sections, read them again, and try and gather more inputs from them and apply to your current situation and journey. The second part is people whom I want to inspire to get started on their journey. The people whom I want to nudge and say, hey, you have a good idea, you already have been thinking about it, how do you want to get started? So for these people, I would say read end to end, and then just let the inspiration part, which I am trying to bring in the book, maybe soak it in, and people who are thinking about doing something of their own, they already have ideas, they have been discussing it. Let them read the book entire end to end, and I want to get them the inspiration that yes, they can also do it. There is no age as a bar. There is no right formula for it. The ideas which they have need can only be tested in the field. No expert can tell you whether it will work or not. So just get going and start testing your idea and see where it takes you. After reading the book, I would request the readers to try and implement some of the simple exercises I mentioned in the book. I'm sure they will find it very relatable to their current situation. Also, if they want to do more discussion, they can always reach out to me. I'm looking forward to people connecting with me. There's a Facebook page and an Instagram account is there for the book. I'm looking forward to people coming back to me and wanting to have more discussions because I also want to learn much more from their journey. Every startup story is a unique one. So I would be very happy to connect with them and discuss with them and walk the next phase of the journey together with them. So I'm actually from a small town, Shimla, in North India. That's where I did my schooling and studying, and then moved on to Jaipur, from where I did my engineering. My first job was in Mumbai. I joined the Hindustan Petroleum Corporation, the public sector company in Mumbai. And in fact, they transferred me to Bangalore, and that's how I happened to reach Bangalore. I never had any thoughts or intent of coming to this place. And when I came to Bangalore at that time, Bangalore was a very small, ordinary town, like any other small town. There was no sign of IT there. But as I stayed here and around the year 2000, I started seeing that Bangalore was transforming. There was IT in the wind. Everywhere you went, you could learn C++, Java, everyone talking about software development. And that's when I thought that how I can be part of this big change, which is a revolution or the IT wave which is coming. And at that moment, I took a very extreme and a difficult step of leaving my earlier job, the stable job of working in HPCL. Started my career after 12 years of in HPCL. I restarted my career as a trainee software engineer, learned software development, was very lucky to have worked in organizations where got an opportunity to work on building products. You know, India is not known for building software products, it's more on the services space. But I was fortunate enough to get an exposure in that field. That is where I met the co-founder Kishore Reddy, who had an equally unusual story about himself. He is an MBBS doctor, and for some reasons, around that time, he gave up his career and he was restarting his new phase as a software developer. We didn't know each other, but somehow we both happened to land up in the same company, and that's how our journey started. And in the year around 2009 is where we thought that we've been developing products for other companies, why can't we do it for ourselves? So again, we took that unusual quick step of saying that let's get going, do something of our own. When we started, we had no idea what product we'll make, which direction the organization will go. We had just one vision in front of us is how to make a world-class software product out of India. An initial phase of our journey, we created 2-3 different products, some which our advisors thought would be great, didn't turn out to be that well in the market. But we also had our own internal thought and idea of what a software product should do for us based on our experience, and that's where Prohance came in. And gradually we found that customers were willing to pay for it, and that's when we realized that this is the product which will take it forward. So we continued on that phase. We both of us on based on our hard work, and it was a completely bootstrap organization, so put in our own resources to it. We took the organization to 1 million phase, so we navigated the impossible 0 to 1 phase, and then we realized that the organization is bigger and bigger. It needs now industry experts who will scale it forward. Luckily, in our customer base, there were many senior people who were seeing us do something very meaningful is happening internally. So they came to us, they were interested in joining us and seeing how they can be part of their journey. So many such people joined, and most important of all, our current CEO, Ankur, he joined us. And with him coming on board, we accelerated and the organization went to next level. And that's how we've reached the current stage. In between the private equity partner, Chris Capital, they came and invested and they took a majority stake. And with their help, now the organization is going global. And we've reached a stage where we've crossed the very, very important milestone of 20 million USD ARR. So that's been a high level story of me and my organization. So I'm not really an author, but it was always in my mind, how do I impart my learnings to take it to the wider audience? And that is where I happen to come across Stardom books, and they have a very good process where they elicit information on how you can structure the knowledge which you have and take it to a larger audience. And that's how this journey started. I followed the process which they had. It made me think a lot and structure my thoughts. And gradually, one step led to another. And in the end, we have a very good book in front of us. And that's how I've become an author now. So I would definitely want to be connected with the readers, ask them to reach out to me. My social media details are available. People can search for me and connect me on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to connect with them and hold much more discussions around it.